off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Neagle.
Canadians are known for their friendliness, but their racetracks can be quite cruel. Tuan Tran took a 9-marker championship point lead into Montreal that melded away like the Columbia ice field during a climate-changed summer. And now, with 3 races left on the Season 11 schedule, the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Eagle heads south to Sonoma Raceway, where 3-time champion Errol Num has a commanding point lead. Can Tran close the gap to Num? Find out right here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Hello from the wine country of Northern California, and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. Way up in the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view is yours truly, Bill Soupson, joined by Adam Forever Young. Down in the production van is the hardest working man in sim racing broadcasting, the one and only Joe Peak, and the cameras at his disposal have been located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. If you've brought cyberspace into your place, then over the next 15 streaming award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the 45 minutes of Skip Barber simulator racing that will immediately follow. Now, before we get into what's coming up, let's quickly recap Round 5 that we touched on in the opening, where 46 drivers took the grid at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with Errol Num earning the bonus point for pole inside of the then point leader Tuan Tran. Row 2 had Pierce Cockey and David Burns, and those 4 drivers broke away early to form a 4-car train up front. Bastian Hausman and Jefferson Padovani populated row 3, but each of them had first laps offs that forced them to finish well outside the points. But up front, Num led for the first 14 laps until Tran wanted the bonus point for leading a circuit, and then Cockey did the same. During the first set of stops, Tran on pit exit came out side by side with the race back marker Patrick Hingston. Now, this is, after all, the Absolute Beginner League, and Tran, the veteran, came together with Hingston, the beginner, and the former champion ending up in the wall to post a 0 points for the round. From that point on, it came down to Num versus Cockey, but Short Phil had nothing for the Roland Estonian as Num picked up his second win of the season. For Cockey, his second was his first podium of this campaign. David Third Degree Burns, who didn't have the pace to hang with the front guys, took third for a healthy points reward. There was some excitement as, with the checker flag waving in front of them, Christian Cabanca tried to pass Ricardo Margarita for 5th. They got together and collected Adam Leach. Cabanca limped across in 5th. Vincent Bream and Liam Quinn sliced through the chaos for 6th and 7th. Margarita took 8th, with Leach relegated down to 9th. And that brings us to the now, where it has taken Formula Neagle 47 races to finally find its way here to this track. So let me reintroduce my partner, Adam Young, who, for the first time ever on GSRC Formula Neagle broadcast, will tell us about Sonoma.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those tracks that we kind of talking before the show here about just how great of a facility this is. So it's kind of a wonder why it took so long for these Skip Barber cars to come here. Of course, Sonoma is a 12-turn winding, twisting facility. You have a little bit of elevation change, and you even have a part of this racetrack that hits a drag strip. But of course, Sonoma Raceway is nestled in the Sonoma Mountains in the center of California's wine industry. Track opened in 1968, and facility did endure a couple of turbulent years. Had a variety of owners, a variety of names, a lot of people, including myself, because I kind of grew up calling it Sears Point. I still call it Sears Point, even though it's known as Sonoma now. It used to be known as Infineon Raceway when Infineon had the naming rights. And then, of course, it was taken over by Speedway Motorsports in 1996. Now, Sonoma is on the real-world schedule for both NASCAR and IndyCar. Various other series do come here as well. And iRacing itself has about 4 different configurations for this. You got a couple for IndyCar, but here right now we're going to be racing on what we call the full configuration. It's the one that has that part that touches the drag strip, and you also have a nice long run going down into turn 11 on that nice flowing section they call the S's. You kind of come out of that and eventually find your way down onto that short straightaway right there. Now it's about 2.5 miles long, and of course over those 12 turns. Now one thing you're going to see a lot out there today, Soup, is going to be the fact that you know, it's dusty around here. You're not going to find a lot of grass at all, or at least live grass. So anybody that puts a wheel off is going to put some dirt on the racetrack, so be looking for that. Otherwise, the track's pretty grippy today.
You know, I know there's a lot of Europeans that watch this broadcast, and if you used iRacing as a barometer to whether to come to California, you take Laguna Seca and Fontana, mix in this one, you think we'd have no foliage out here at all, as those are pretty grim-looking tracks. It is a pretty place to come. Come and see us. We come and visit for a while. Then
They're just saving money on watering the grass.
That's it. No, we do like to conserve that. You know, let's talk about some passing zones here. I think probably, what, turn 11, maybe your best bet?
Yeah, turn 11's always going to be a good bet here, just because really it's the slowest point on the racetrack, and you got a nice little you know, hairpin right there to try to get around people. I've seen people be able to try to make turn 2 work. That could be a little tough, though. Outside of that, I think your next best passing area is probably going to be either turn 4 or turn 7. Those are pretty much the 4 areas I'd be looking for to try to make a pass here today.
Got it. Okay, well, now that we've talked about the track, why don't we take a second and look at how the standings stand. Remember, there's no drop races in this event, in this series, so it becomes very important. With no drop races and a short 8-race schedule, there's no room for mistakes in the championship assault, and Tuan Tran Zero of Montreal drops the Mama Jean driver out of first behind his rival, Errol Num. Now, the Roland Estoian has a handy 23-point lead, and you know, only a no-show or misfortune could deny the Bushfink Yellow driver a 4th crown. David Third Degree Burns holds stations in 3rd for DBR 2 Stupid Dogs. Remaining in 4th is newcomer Christian Kabanka racing for Team Haas CCR Skippy. Now get this, climbing 9 spots over the last 3 races is AM Racing Team's Mikael Hoflandaisen, who joins the top 5 overlay for the first time this season. Let's go ahead now and look at the team championship. With Montreal Zeros from Tuan Tran and Bastian Hausman, Mama Jean Racing's point lead shrinks from a whopping 57 to just 14. DBR 2 Stupid Dogs, powered by Burns, and the Season 5 champ Vincent Bream sit in 2nd and are closing. Aeronum has done enough single-handedly to keep Bushfink Yellow in 3rd. Not much contribution there from Ricard Allard this season. Michael Hoflandaisen's recent success, along with Andrew Leach's effort, has pulled AM Racing into 4th, and they're coming, pushing Haas CCR Skippy down into 5th, with Christian Kabanka being the only driver for that team. So, Adam, we've talked about the track, reviewed the last race, gone over the points. Now let's look at the nuts and bolts of what's coming up here for this race.
Yeah, you know, and of course you brought it up a few times already. Time is running out. Tuan Tran's going to have to try to make up for some mistakes, and because we're now at round 6 of 8. I mean, we're at the 3/4 mark almost at the end of here for today. So there are no drops in this series, and race distance here this afternoon is going to be about 45 minutes. And these are open setups, and we are looking at 1 stop for fuel here today. Incident cap is at 20, and there are no fast repairs here in the Absolute Beginners League.
And, you know, we just went to Montreal that had that unusual pit entrance where you entrance on the outside of the track. Strangely enough, we come to Sonoma, and it kind of has the same thing going on. What's pit like here? Yeah,
you know, when you come down pit road, for pit entrance, it's going to be kind of on the outside of the track as well. And then you got that long pit lane. I mean, because you got to kind of wrap your way around turn 11, and pit entrance is right there at turn 11. You kind of wrap your way around, and then eventually you go past 12, and then 1, and you just kind of get dumped out in the middle of the track too once you come out. So that'll be something to watch out for as well.
You know, with Aeronum holding a 23 marker lead in the points championship, what he really needs to do is avoid disaster. Now, is Sonoma a friendly place to race, or can it bite you and end your day early?
Well, you know, any track can bite
Right.
you if you're not careful. But you know, Sonoma. That's one thing about Sonoma is you've got a lot of runoff here in many places of the track. So I do anticipate we're going to see some spins. You know, it's really easy to get into pretty hot into some of these corners. In these Skip Barber cars, it's pretty easy to get their self lined back up straight. But if you do get hot, you do spin out. Chances are you're going to be able to spin out into the dirt and not hit anything. And so I'm actually not expecting a whole lot of attrition here for today as far as because of the track. Now, contact with the cars and all that, well, we'll just see how these guys race, what side of the bed they woke up on and stuff like that here for today. But usually they're pretty good. But you know, one other thing, too, to remember is that it is the first time here for everybody. The Absolute Beginners League has not been here in these Formula Neagle machines. So it's going to be a question of how everybody's going to be taking the first couple corners.
And there you can see that qualifying has just started before we get to our number to know segment. Let's take a second to see how qualifying goes, as they have 2 laps. Maybe it's 3 laps here if I remember right in the
It is 3.
Neagle. Yeah, it is 3. So you can see Errol Num up there in front. Remember, there's a bonus point for that. Tuan Tran yet to put in a time. He was fast in practice, waiting for him to get one in. Pierce Cockey. David Burns right now sitting in second. We got a new guy, a new name that I don't think we've had before. And look down here, he's sitting in 5th position right now. That is Michel Rugenbrink. I don't think we've had him, don't know much about him, but nice qualifying time. He was 7th in practice.
It should be looking at Tuan Tran, I think. Just came
There
across
we
the
go.
line. Ooh, nice little, pretty tight there between David Burns and Tuan Tran early. Only 4 hundredths of a second.
Now remember, if Tran wants to close that gap, he wants to get any points that he can, including the bonus point for the qualifying lap. Right now, Num looks pretty well, as he is about 4/10 of a second faster than Third Degree Burns that we look at right there in his familiar DBR Two Stupid Dogs machine. And again, DBR making a run in the team championship as Burns is teamed up with Season 5 champion Vincent Bream. Those two, that combination, have been together for a long time, and they are closing in on Mom and Jean Racing. Padavani, Jefferson Padavani, he's had a tough race last time in Montreal, but doing well right now, sitting in 4th.
Yeah, Jefferson there, he had a tough race in Montreal, and there's been a couple times this season where it seems like bad luck has just kind of come his way through no fault of his own. So, you know, if he could just put together a good string of races, a good season, you know, he'd be one of those guys you'd have to be talking up there in the top couple of spots in the points.
There's another new name. You see him down in 8th. Nico Roman. Have not heard from him. This would be his debut into the series. Of course, this is called the Absolute Beginner League. We talked about it when we were talking about the race recap. That doesn't mean these are all beginners. This is some top-tier drivers up here. But what they are is very inviting to new drivers to come in and learn the tricks of the trade. And that's why some of these fields are so big. Let's go ahead now and go to our segment that we like to call the Number to Know. And Adam, this afternoon's number, I don't know what the heck is going on here. We're starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel. 2.667 looks like some kind of variation on pi. What is this thing?
Right. All right. So 2.667. Basically, right now we're getting after the end of the day, we're at essentially the 3/4 mark of the season. There's only going to be 2 races left at the end of today. So assuming Tuan Tran is able to win out, and he picks up all the bonus points he possibly can for poles and leading a lap. And you can already see that today, Euro Num having kind of a wrap-up. I shouldn't say a wrap-up, but he's looking to be the favorite for the pole. So he's already going to lose out a little bit on that. But that, with assuming all the bonus points, that is the average finishing position Euro Num needs to guarantee the championship. So if you think about it like this, he could take a second and then a pair of thirds, and the championship is his. There's nothing Tuan Tran can do. So really, if you're Tuan Tran, you got to be hoping that Euro Num runs into some sort of trouble in one of these races.
Yeah, it's almost like playing golf when you're playing with somebody that's equally matched with you. If you have one bad hole, yeah, gotta hope that the guy you're playing with has disaster somewhere as well. And a second and 2/3 seem very doable for the 3-time champion looking to pick up his 4th. They're still qualifying right now. All the familiar names up in front. Some of those newcomers that we talked about, well, they've kind of left. There is some guys who've come in to fill them up. Vincent Bream, Liam Quinn. We still got down there, though, sitting in 9th position. Somebody to keep an eye on there. Mikkel Rugenbrink. And then also, how about Ricardo Margarita? He's been around all season long. He's a fun guy to watch. He is exciting. Remember, Adam, he had that last lap incident where he came together with Quebec on the very end as they were heading to the green flag, or the checker flag at Montreal.
Yeah, they got real exciting in a hurry, and
Yeah.
I don't think they were too happy with each other for a little bit after that either. So hopefully they've been able to mend some fences. But that was pretty intense. See, Margarita kind of lose control there a little bit. Is he able to keep it out of the tire wall? That'll be something to keep an eye on today if those guys end up on the racetrack next to each other.
And they're still putting in some time. We'll wait a little bit. We'll go to we'll put up our grid here in a minute before qualifying is done, because it's our field is not as big as usual. We talked about it last time. We had 46 drivers at Montreal, and the fields have been averaging well over 40 this season, which just speaks to what a great series this is, as so often series grow long and the grids get smaller. But this time, this series is notorious for putting up big grids. Right now, though, it looks like we only have about 31 drivers here today, as I guess a lot of Europeans didn't want to pay for the shipping cost to bring the cars over to California, but they already had them in Montreal. How bad could it be? Just shoot on down. Okay, I think our grid is done, so let's go ahead and bring it up. That way we can take our time through it a little bit here, with about 20 seconds left to go. We'll take them 10 at a time. It is the Rolling Stone and Ariel Num in front of the CISA 6 champion, Tuan Tran. David Third Degree Burns and Pierce Shortfield Cocky make up row 2. Andrew Leach and Jefferson Padavani go 5th and 6th. The next row is populated by Vincent Bream and Liam Mr. Excitement Quinn. Row 5, the AM driver there is Mikkel Hoflandaisen and Ricardo Margarita. Adam?
The 9th is actually Michelle Rugenbrink. Nico Roman going home in 11th in row 6. João Valverde on the outside of him. Austin Espetti in 13th position. And there's Mikkel Hoflandaisen there in 14th position. 15th on the inside of row 8, going to belong to Eric Lukel. Andy Bonar in 16th. Thomas Kick in 17th in row 9. And alongside him will be Edgar Sanchinelli. Kevin Mills and Jacob Younger are going to make up row 10.
That's so funny. I saw Mikkel and then a whole bunch of letters after that. I just assumed it was Hoflandaisen. Mama, sorry, I got to learn to read both names. 21st position, Roger Pritkin. And here's another Mikkel, but I'll go ahead and read this one. It's Michael Kimont in 22nd, the double duck spot. David Moeller and Paulo Pareto in 23rd and 24th. The next row is Ricard Colomb, Tony Matthews, Matt Cabreo, Patrick Hingston. We talked about him having pit exit trouble last time in Montreal. The final 3, Christopher Hancock, Arnaldo Petkoff, and Wade Jones. Petkoff and Jones not able to put in qualifying times. Jones not even putting in practice time, so I'm not sure if Wade is actually going to race with us right now. So let's go ahead and assume there's going to be 30 drivers out there taking the grid today. A rather smallish size grid for the absolute beginners. Little overcast today. Adam, quickly, what's the weather look like?
Yeah, cloudy, which is plenty of grip for these cars. Temperature is about 80 degrees, though, out there. With thankfully, with the clouds, it means the track temperature is only 81. Winds, though, it's pretty breezy. In the iRacing world, this is breezy, west 14 miles an hour.
Now, Tuan Tran finally gets his car out there, and I think we are ready to go. Scrolling back through the field, it looks like we have a pretty large, looks like every spot is filled. You can hear the engine start to harmonize. It is going to be round 6 of 8. Season 11 of the Absolute Beginner Leagues. Formula Neagle, gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. The horses are out of the barn, and 3-time champion, the Roland Estonian, leads Tuan Tran into the first corner. Burns, Cocky, and Padavani.
It looked like Padavani got stuck on the outside there, lost a spot or two, but he's going to try to get it back here. Almost contact there between him and Leach.
Yeah, Padavani in the white car. Now ahead of him is Leach. Padavani back to 6. Right behind him in the yellow one is Vincent Bream. Rounding out your top 10, Margarita, Quinn, and Rugenbrink.
And do have some damaged cars in the back here. I'll take a look, see if anything happened there for you, Soup.
They start to break away at 14th. That's where the gap is. Eric Neagle trying to leave a little gap behind Andy Bonar running in 15th. But right now, 15 cars in a string up front.
All right, so in the back, when we get a chance to look at it, Tony Matthews ended up having problems, lost the car, came back across the track, caught Patrick Hingston, and Patrick Hingston went for a wild ride there.
We're going to get this on replay right now. There's not much is going on the track. Oh, look at the pack of cars they were racing back there.
You can see Patrick Hingston, that blue and bluish green Ben and Jerry's fishing, and he just kind of starts tumbling back there.
We're going to take a look at that one. And while that was going on, I can report that Paulo Prado turned a driver. I'll see if I can get that. We don't need to get it on replay. Yeah, it was David Moeller got turned. Oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness. Hope you've had your breakfast, folks. Back live. Errol Numb has not been able to pull away. Familiar names up front, though. Adam, Numb, Tran, and Burns. No matter how many they bring into the series, it seems like it's those three guys almost racing in that order every time. Sure enough, Pierce Cockey in the mix as well.
Yeah, and I did find your Palo Prieto incident back there. David Moeller, I think, kind of just took an odd line and ended up coming back across the nose of Palo, and David Moeller got stuck in the wall for his trouble.
Hey, thanks for doing that, because I said he got turned, and sometimes I didn't have a real long look at it. Thanks for taking a second look. We hate to put the blame on somebody that didn't deserve it. Still about a 13-car field up front with, we look from the very back, let's go to Eric Neagle. He's the last car, he's the caboose of this long train. He's following Jal Valverde. Now, Valverde new to the series this season, doing really well, very impressive, racing back there in 12th. Liam Quinn, Mr. Excitement, in 11th. Oh, going off, that's Hoflandaisen, but he gathers it back up right in front of Quinn. Not only does he gather it back up, he doesn't lose any momentum. And now, looking on the newcomer here, Rugenbrink, as they head down into the hairpin. And Hoflandaisen going to try to duck it in there tough. No, Rugenbrink is going to close the door, but he goes a little bit wide. Hoflandaisen trying to fight back. That's a battle for ninth.
You know, I've seen some guys try to do some stuff with these Skip Barber machines on the dirt tracks in iRacing now, and I think Miguel Hoflandaisen is just trying to prove that yes, you can race these on non-asphalt surfaces.
And look at that, Hoflandaisen powers around as the AM Racing Team driver gets up into ninth position. Great run from him. Also some good racing from the newcomer Rugenbrink. Good job from him. So now there's a little bit of a gap now. Margarita in 8th has a little bit of a cushion. And actually, Adam, if we look at it, the train is really broken up. It's now 4 cars as Cockey has left Leach behind.
Yeah, you know, and these are probably about the 4 cars that I would have expected to try to break away here early. But Euro Numb just... He can't seem to pull away quite yet from Tuan Tran, and that's exactly what Tuan Tran wants to do right now. The best Tuan Tran can do this early in the race is just keep Euro Numb in your sights and in front of you, or at the very least right behind you.
Well, you know, one of the things that the series organizers put in this season was bonus points for leading a lap, because they wanted to try to break up this just let's all get in line, let's all just follow each other around and then race for it on the last lap. So now, especially with Tron trying to run down the guy in front of him, he's going to try to at least get his nose across the start-finish line first for one of these. We saw that happen last time as Cockey was able to do it as well. Burns this time looks to have better pace than he had at Montreal, where he was really struggling to stay with him. These 4 guys seem pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, and get back to your point there about the bonus points. I think, you know, like if I'm Tuan Tran though, and I know that I can get a bonus point, maybe trying to pit a lap later than Euro Numb, because we know Euro does like to he likes to come in a little bit early in the inside of the pit window. So that would be an easy way to do it and not risk the race car. Now, we'll see how hungry he wants to be, and I think he knows that he has to do something. But we also know the type of guy that Tuan Tran is, and he doesn't want to gain a lot of ground in this championship by causing an incident that ends up hurting Euro Num. So he's going to try to do it the best way he possibly can, and that might be one way to do it. It's just pit on a different lap.
Yeah, experienced viewers of this series will realize that Euro Num is actually notorious for coming in early, and Tran is notorious for running the thing really long. So I think you're right. I think Tran probably figures I can run longer than Aero can. I know I can get it that way. Let's drop back. We'll leave those fours. They don't seem to be very aggressive. Let's go back, look at 5th position. This is Leach and Padovani. These guys are racing in the same order that they qualified, 5th and 6th. You can see Leach beginning to distance himself. Leach is teamed up with Am Racing with Hofflandaisen.
And we're going to go back to Jalverde and Liam Quinn back here also. Now, Liam Quinn, he had a little bit of a rougher start. He started in 8th and lost quite a few spots there in the first lap. I think he got stuck on the outside and it just kind of got freight trained a little bit. And now he's just trying to claw his way back. And I think the first person that's going to be the victim of Liam Quinn here might be Jalverde. But we know that Jal is he's a pretty stout guy himself. I mean, he's not just going to roll over and give Liam this position here.
Let's look at Richard Colomb racing in 21st position. He just nosed in the wall. We have time. We can probably get this one. There he is in the pits. It just happened as I brought it up. Our director should be able to find this one. There we go. Oh, there it is at the very end. He hit hard.
Right in that tire.
Take one more look at this one.
I said in the beginning there that you got a lot of runoff here in case something happens, and I think Richard just found the one place where you don't have a lot of runoff.
Well, like you said, any track will get you. Look at that. Yeah, talk about no runoff. There's the yellow line track boundary, and he found the wall right there. I used to be a big NASCAR fan. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I always try to catch the road races here. And some of the most horrific crashes that I can think of, and that happened both at here and at Watkins Glen in those NASCAR races because the cars bounce back on the track.
Yeah, you don't really see it as much as what you used to here. Now that they've got that section there, they call the chute. Right. Even though those cars get so close to that wall right there, and I think it's going to eat a Gen 6 one of these days. But in Watkins Glen, especially in those Cup cars, I mean that track there, that'll just you're right, it could be vicious.
Things are pretty mild. We're looking at this battle here for 6. This is Padovani, and look at this, how he's ran down Leach now. Again, Leach teamed up with Hofflandaisen for Am Racing as they try to climb up through the standings. Padovani, new to the series from Brazil. And again, that's one of the advantages of this time slot. It is late Sunday night in Europe, a nice friendly Saturday afternoon in the U.S. and in South America. Really, the only drivers that have a hard time making this time are Japan and Australia. Leach again out in front. Padovani as we ride on board with the rookie. Just can't seem to gather him in. Boy, you can sure see the clouds, so look how overcast it is here in Central California. I guess, Adam, that should make racing a little easier. These skippies like to slide around, not a lot of rubber for them, so I guess the cooler track temperature should help, huh?
Yeah, and when I was riding around before the race, it definitely felt like I had a lot more grip than what I normally would. These cars are exceptionally grippy today with these cloudy conditions.
We're looking at 17th right now. Here's another newcomer, Nico Roman. He's in a nice... Oh, careful there as Nico gets it a little bit wide. No, that's Thomas Kick that got it wide. Here comes Nico's going to capitalize on that mistake. Oh, but look at that. The newcomer decides to think better of it. Sit back and wait for a better opportunity. I think that was
the last lap that Thomas Kick had completed the pass around Nico Roman, so he almost lost the position he just gained a little while ago.
They come around. This is a battle for 16th. Very, very well-behaved race out there right now.
Oh, Michelle Hofday's in here. Almost goes around. Oh, that was... He's still trying to gather it up going into 2. Somehow he was able to stay in it and not lose position to Ricardo Margarita, who's back there fighting with him.
And my gosh, even as you were still even as you said he's still, and then again later he still had to fight it. We go with Hopland days of what you don't. Margarita had a windscreen of this in front of him. This goes on, he saves it. And then he gets off here and he struggles a little bit more. And then I think it even keeps going. Maybe that was the gather up. We'll go back and watch this from Margarita. We're on board with Rugenbrink right now. Yep. There we go. You can see it's up on there's one spot up. You can see that's Margarita. There we go. Now we'll come back live.
And while we were talking about that, Rugenbrink was able to make the pass around Margarita. So, Soup, just be a little bit careful. It is Mikhail Hofdays and Michelle Rugenbrink right there on the track next to each other now in 8th and 9th position.
Okay, I got it. They don't even have the same first names. It's Michael and Michelle. These are some fun drivers to watch. In fact, let's stay on this a little bit. We're looking, there's this battle for 9th. This is Rugenbrink. Here comes Margarita as he tucks in behind, gets the toe, and gets that pass made again. Oh, but he's fighting back. They continue. Cialis bathtubs now as they work their way through 2, and Margarita gets it done.
Tell you what, though, look just behind them. You got that other battle we were watching with João Verde and Liam Quinn. They have gained a lot of time on this since Hofdays and had his little moment back there and slowed up that entire group. So now it's you almost have a 4-car battle right now going on for that 9th position. If they could just get up there just a little bit closer.
This is the best racing on the track that I can find. I can report that Num and Tran has kind of broken away from Burns and Cocky as they're now racing in 2-car tandems, 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th. We ride on board, looking off the back of the rookie Valverde, back at veteran Liam Quinn, Mr. Excitement. Yeah, I call Liam Quinn Mr. Excitement because when I first got into the series, man, he was having a couple races that could not be believed. Since then, things have calmed down for him, but the nickname sticks. Sanchinelli must have had trouble. He's coming over saying something. Let's see if I can find Edgar Sanchinelli.
Oh, yeah, he just ran over Arnaldo Petov.
Oh, he sure
Arnaldo
did.
had to gather it up on the hill. Tony Matthews was almost involved in it, and Edgar Sanchinelli ended up being way off track.
Tony Matthews did a good job. He saw it all happen in front of him. He got very loose, was able to keep it going straight. Watch Matthews. He's not in your screen. He's in the very back. There comes Sanchinelli. Gets in the back, says, very sorry. He goes off. Matthews gathers it up. And then I think finishes the pass here. So a little... We're going to go on board Matthews to take a look at that one. Petkoff, by the way, his car is not feeling well. He's really crabbing a bit. Here we go. Watch. We ride on board with Matthews. And then the car is still, you can see as he gets around Petkoff there, the car wasn't looking good. Matthew gets that spot.
Yeah, I think he's got some sort of, definitely has some sort of suspension damage. Arnaldo's going to go ahead and come on in.
Let's go back up to the lead real quick.
And you know, I think we saw that last time out at Mosport is a little bit of contact with somebody there in the left rear, and broke the suspension, and somebody had to come in. I forget who it was though, but yeah, that was definitely interesting there.
You can see that Tran has distanced himself from Third Degree Burns, racing back there in 3rd. So right now, there they are, Num and Tran. Now, don't be confused. Your timing and scoring are off. Somebody took a tow back to pit lane, so RI Racing timing and scoring will put them in the lead. Tran is actually in 2nd. Your leader is Num. That'll fix here as they come around the start-finish line. Let's stay on this, and you can actually watch the gremlins go away as they cross the start-finish line. You can see Errol Num should get credit with first position right now. There you go. One of the little inconsistencies of our timing and scoring. Burns and Cocky back there racing in third and fourth. Let's go to that right now as Burns has an off. This is going to open the door for Cocky. Sharkville goes ahead and takes it over Third Degree. Third Degree says, well, I wasn't going anywhere anyway. I'll just sit back here behind you. Pit stops should be coming up anywhere soon. We're probably in the window right now, Adam, with 28 to go in a 45-minute race. Usually a pretty big window.
Yeah, and I expect we will. So I think we're going to have a pretty good gap here between guys coming in. A little bit of strategy at play.
Looks like Andy Bonar, Ricardo Margarita coming in, Fritkin as well. For Margarita, probably a smart move, as it was pretty intense racing out there. While it was probably a lot of fun, if you're talking about getting points, maybe you want to get away from that. And Margarita has left. We'll see.
We missed an incident a little while ago, and it was a couple of top 10 cars. João Verde and Ricardo Margarita. This is what happened to him on lap 9, going up to turn 2. If we were able to take a look at it.
Oh yeah. See if our director can find it.
Michel Rugenbrink here, not sure if he had a problem or something, but it caused, Ricardo Margarita, he just lost it going in there. He ended up spinning out, clipping João Verde, and I think it broke João Verde's suspension as well, and I think ended up both their days.
Valverde is done, and Margarita then was able to limp it around to pit lane. And, that ended there. That was probably the lap they usually Margarita bring it in. That was after the incident, so we're not able to find that one. But take Valverde and Margarita off your scoring list now, boys and girls. Scratch them off your clipboard. So what we thought was a scheduled pit stop really was not. It was at least for Margarita. Let's look at Thomas Kick right now, being chased by Nico Roman. This is a good battle for the Baker's Dozen position. Kick out in front with those white rims, being chased by the chrome rims of Nico Roman. Hofflandaisen, I heard him say, yeah, he had a, let's see, it just happened, director. Hofflandaisen had a spin, and he comes back in front. And he collects Rugenbrink. Here we go. Now look at him get loose. Hofflandaisen loose at him, and he comes out. He could not keep the car off the track. Then he locks it up like he should, but Michelle, they're like, you know what? I got him confused in the when we were calling the grid. Sure enough, they get together.
Yeah, now we'll have to see what kind of damage Rugenbrink's car has, but he lost position there, I think, to Liam Quinn in all of it.
Boy, he comes over the hill. He really can't see what's going on. As he comes over, he sees the smoke, doesn't know where to go. Now he sees the car, and he hits him.
He's almost committed to that line at that point. And, I think when he tried to check up, I think it's when he kind of saw the car jerk a little bit on him, and it just... there was nothing. There wasn't anything Rugenbrink could do there. His
only option was to go left, and there's no way to get the car left there. I mean, it's, if he turns it to the right, he T-bones him. So yeah, what are you going to do? As we look at our leaders, I'm sorry, I thought I misidentified the car color there. Now we're looking at Paul Prado, racing in 16th position all by himself. Now we go up to the Burns and Sharkville Pierce Cocky battle. "24 minutes of racing left. Just about the halfway mark. These cars can go a long time though, so we've seen on a 45-minute race, we've seen Tuan Tran go almost 41, 42 minutes before he decides to come in. Adam, I almost wonder If Arrow Numb has had an Achilles heel this season, it has been his pit times. And it's really not his fault. He just seems to be unlucky. His pit cool is very undisciplined. I almost wonder if Tran's back there just riding behind for the first half of the race, saving fuel, and just thinking, well, I'll spend a little less time in the pit box. Maybe I can pass you the easy way.
And that wouldn't be surprised me at all if that's exactly what he's thinking, and that's really the smart way to do it. And even if maybe it'll push him just past that limit too of being able to push it here, because normally if it was a normal day, I think Euro might have already come in, because he likes to come in. But I think he knows the strategy that Tuan Tran's trying to pull right now, which is wait for him. So any bit of fuel that Tuan Tran can save right now, I think you're going to see that come out in the good for him once the pit cycle completes. And then I tell you what, we could potentially be setting up for a whale of a second half of the race between these two.
And Tran could also be saying, bonus point for leading a lap. Well, I only need to lead one lap, and I'll get my bonus point when I get the checkered flag. So what's interesting is with a smaller field, usually we talk about grid size anywhere between 45 to almost 55 sometimes. Traffic, a much bigger factor in these races. Today, not so much, as the first half of the race, we're 22 minutes of racing left. Arrow Numb nowhere close to coming up on a back marker. Although that could change when some of these guys decide to come in and take their first pit stop. We talked that our director make a good point. We only have 20 cars on the lead lap. In fact, Hoffland-Dazen is not even racing. I'm not sure Margarita. Yeah, these guys are
most
all done.
Most of the guys that are a lap down, I think,
are done. Yeah.
In fact, they're done. And I think a lot of it is it hasn't been so much attrition because of kind of like what I brought up there in the pre-race. It hasn't been so much attrition because of the track itself, because of all the runoff. I think we've only seen one or two of those guys actually lose it because of wall contact. It's been contact with other vehicles.
Well, Arrow Numb, a fan of attrition as long as it isn't applied to him, and right now he's happy. He's got a long way to go before he sees a lapped car in front of him, or a slower car. Last car on the lead lap would be the driver in 20th, Roger Pritkin. He's a minute 24 behind the leaders last time around, so that's still a 20-second gap before Numb would get to him. There we look at Roger. We saw Tony Matthews and Sancinelli in that incident. They're still both out there racing. How about we look at Andy Bonar? We haven't really looked at him. 17th all by himself. And while we're doing this, kind of a back markers review, how about we look at maybe 16th position? We'll look at Paulo Prado, racing all by himself as well. He's got about 11 seconds before he gets up to Jacob Younger. Again, another driver. Oh, there's the commentator's curse for you. Look at that paint scheme. Maybe we stay on this one. Oh, that's a great shot there on Dougie Beard camera. Just a beautiful rainbow like color of cars. Yeah. Like somebody painted that one with water balloons full of paint. I guess they'd be paint balloons.
So it's like, just give me a white car and leave my 5-year-old with it for a while. He's got this. Right. He's got this.
Let's look a little more. How about Kevin Mills? Racing in 14th. And I think that's probably everybody that hasn't got any screen time yet. We talked about Nico Roman. Is that battle still going on with the Roman and
Jefferson Padovani's in from, I believe he was coming in from 5th or 6th position there.
Yep, there's our first front runner coming in. He was actually he was in that battle back there racing, I believe, with Leach. And now he rolls. These are pretty quick pit stops here in Formula Neagle. 15.5 seconds, 43 seconds cone to cone for Padovani. He's going to cycle out in 13th position. Let's go up just ahead of him. Is a nice little battle. This is Kick and Roman. This has been going on for most of the race. Battle for 11th. Both these drivers yet to pit. And there's the pass made by Roman. Oh, I spoke too soon. Kick fights back. I can actually have some personal information about Thomas Kick. He races out of Berlin, Germany, and he's 35 years old. Thomas was nice enough to send me little personal details that I could throw in, add a little flavor to the broadcast. Don't know what his profession is, but since he's in Berlin in Germany, I'm going to say he works in a strudel factory.
Oh, soup.
Kick having it off. Able to gather it up. Boy, that's a good battle as they continue to fight. Roman looking for a way around. I think he's going to have a pretty good drive off of this corner. No, I'm sorry. Now they cross it. But here it comes. Look at the run he has. Nope, not going to get there. Nothing going on up front. It is still Numb and Tran. Usually I say there's some choreography going on, some leapfrogging or some dancing. That's not happening. Tran has just been chasing them for the first...
Ooh, Pierce Cocky was getting hungry on David Burns up here in third and fourth for just a second. Actually hit a really good run on him just a second ago.
Well, last time we checked, remember Burns was running third. And he lost that spot to Cocky, so he must have got that back. Burns is back now. Cocky back there in fourth. They are 6 seconds behind the front duet. And then it's another 6 seconds back to Andrew Leach in fifth, racing all by himself. There's Leach. A driver that we haven't talked much about is David Burns' partner for Two Stupid Dogs. That's Vincent Bream in sixth position. Again, racing by himself as well. Nothing going on. Drop back to Quinn. We'll go one more back. Quinn and Rugenbrink. We talked, when we saw Rugenbrink get into it, just clip Hofflandaisen as he went by. I say Michel's car pretty good right now as he's keeping pace with Quinn. Austin Espety coming into the pits, as does Eric Lukal. Austin, a name that I don't remember talking about. He must have got away from our rundown there. While Espety is in the pits, Padovani goes by. Padovani is the top driver of all the cars who pitted. Remember, he was running well inside the top 10 when he made his stop. Let's go to 13th position. Espety is out of pit lane. He's coming right behind Jacob Lunger. Now, Younger has yet to pit. Espety would like to get this spot. This is not for position. Well, it is for position, but if Austin will just wait for a little bit, Younger will have to get out of the way. I'm not sure Austin is going to do that right now as he's looking. As they come into the carousel, he'll have the preferred position on this sweeping left-hander. And move Austin up to 13th. And that'll be even more when some of the drivers in front of him come in, I believe.
Ooh, we go up to the lead. Tuan Tran finally starting to look a little racy here with Euro Numb. Actually had his nose inside him just a second ago. Euro Numb now, I think, feeling the pressure too, starting to wheel that car a little bit more. I think Tuan Tran's kind of figured out that Euro's not going to do his normal strategy here, and if he's going to want the lead, he's going to have to find a way to take it.
It might also be a case where I'm going to need to be coming in here pretty soon. Let me see if I can get the pass made now, so at least I'm first to the pit lane. And you'll have to follow me all the way down pit entrance. Let's see. Let's stay on this right now as they head down. This is going to be into 7. I call it 7. They call it 7 and 7A. It's a big hairpin. You see it right here. They work around. Now through maybe one of the most fun parts of the track as they work through 8 and 8A. left and right-handers. Kind of a good rhythm going on here. Through this little turn 9. 10 as they start now full throttle all the way down into the hairpin of 11. They've got the lap car, Roger Pritkin ahead of them. Pritkin pulls it over, lets him go by. And that's interesting. The back marker pulled over to let him by. The leader said, okay, I don't want to mess with this. I'll take my stop now. And Tran was able to get by Pritkin without a problem. So here's your bonus point for Tran. And Num is in. Now, it's almost guaranteed that Num is going to come out somewhere with drivers in front of him, as there's still many cars haven't stopped yet. Tran has nobody right now. Is this his time to hot lap?
I got to think that these guys are right at the tail end of their window, though. So,
yep.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tuan Tran come in here this next time by as well. And don't forget, you still got Cocky and Burns back there as well. Euro Num is away.
Tran was about 0.4 of a second slower in qualifying time. That's not always an indication of real race pace. Num is out with nobody in front of him. So Tran is out there racing still. By the way, he's well out in front of Padovani, who's now second of the cars who have pitted. Ahead of Padovani by almost 20 seconds. Burns, Cocky, Leach, all yet to come in. Along with our race leader, Tuan Tran. Looking at the Mama Jean machine right there, the familiar purple and black half and half scheme with those yellow rims. Here he comes. Looking for Num was in the stop in his box for 11.8 seconds. That is right in there with what the fast times have been. We'll see what Tran can do.
Yeah, Tran right now coming into 10.
Yeah, Num coming into 10. Yeah, Tran.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Num coming into 10, now coming into 11.
And now he'll be on the gas. Tran still sitting in his second stall. Right behind him, coming in, I believe that is Burns. Yeah, Burns and Cocky have decided to come in. Tran is rolling. Where is Num? Num is coming.
Right behind him.
Tran's got it out on the track first. Does he have the momentum?
Yeah.
He's not going to let him by. You will have to wait, sir. I think if they were ghost racing, Num would have been well out in front, but Tran got it out there. Num wants it back right now. So there you go. Behind him.
How about that?
Yeah, behind him, Burns and Cocky come out in that order. They are about 6 seconds back. Now with 10 minutes of racing to go, you know, again, if you're new to the series, these guys have been in this position, I'm not going to exaggerate, 5-6 times maybe in their career where they are the two cars racing for the win. And here Num looking all over. He's going to get to the inside. Tran almost gave him that spot. Really just said, I think if you want it, you got it. Move Num up in front now. Tran in second. Not much of a, what do you think here, Adam? Not really much of a fight from the...
No, I think what happened was that Tuan Tran was thinking about going defensive and then thought at the last second maybe not. And then I think it was just kind of more of a miscommunication between these two about their lines, which as often as they race together, yeah, miscommunications can still happen. It ultimately ended up being with Tuan Tran just kind of really running wide into there, not intentionally.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. I think he was going to defend and said, oh, it's too late to make that move, and now I'm in this position. Let me just do what I can. Here comes the pass for the lead, though. Tran had a good run. He's trying to get to the, as he's looking as they come into 2, not going to get it done. This will be a good indicator. Tran can figure out where he wants to make this pass with 9 minutes of racing left. He's trying to feel where he wants to do it. Look at Numb take that Skippy over the curve. Tran takes it out onto the California dust, gets it gathered back up. Boy, he is right behind him. On him like a postage stamp is Tuan Tran. Now he gets the run. He's going to be on the outside of the carousel. That's not going to work. He makes Numb take that defensive line through 6. Tran got a great drive here. He's right behind him. Can he clear him? Yes, he does. I was worried he was going to collect his left rear. Tran side by side. Unfortunately, he's on the outside as they work through 7, but he'll be able to do the up and under, little dipsy-do, the hucklebuck. Nope, he's got to back off as Tran holds his station. Good racing.
As many great battles that these two have had. I just, yeah, you know, you get that tingling sensation that you're in store for something special. I'm starting to get that. I'm not going to lie.
With apologies to the rest of the field, we did our best to give you guys some love throughout. But honestly, for the 8 minutes remaining in the race, a lot of our focus is going to be up front, especially if the Netherlands driver continues to put the pressure on the rolling Estonian. Of course, I'm talking about Tuan Tran, the Dutch driver, trying to race down the man from Estonia. 4 championships between those guys, and I would think fast forward a couple months, make that 5, as one of these guys is going to get another one. Numb has 3, Tran has 1. It's been a while for Tran. He picked one up in Season 6. Numb has a sprinkling of them all the way through, including Season 10 last season. Boy, Numb again as they go over working the curbs. Tran right behind him. 7.5 minutes of racing to go. I'm not able to do the math as much as some of my booth mates can here of where we are. Lap times are about 1:43. We'll give you the time remaining as they cross the start-finish line this time around. We'll probably be able to figure it out. Numb drops back, or pulls out ahead by about 2 car lengths now as they work through 7. These guys are 6 seconds ahead of the third place battle between Burns and Cocky, and that battle has really cooled off. Burns well ahead now by almost 2 seconds over Cocky. Leach comfortably in 5th, Padavani in 6th. No real battles in the top 10. Bream all by himself. Liam Quinn in 8th. There is one we can maybe check in. Let's leave the lead. Let's go to the away from the lead for a second. Let's look at Lucal and Espety in 9th position. Not really much of a battle. I'll keep an eye on the leaders. We can jump back there if Tran makes a pass, but he's about 2 car lengths back. Doesn't look like he's doing anything for a while. So there's your battle for 9th. Let's go back up to the lead. It's closing down. Tran's only a car length down. If he decides to bring it in hot, he could make it. Right now, he's on the tail. Adam, what do you think? Where does he make his move? What corner?
I think right now he's doing his best to pressure Numb into a mistake. He almost made one right there. Ooh, Numb just started dancing the corner. Then he's getting loose. He's off the grass.
Yeah. Oh, that can't work.
There it is.
There it is. You called it. That's why Adam Young gets paid the big money. He forced Errol Numb into a mistake. Good night, nurse, as Tuan Tran has opened it up by 40 car lengths now over Errol Numb. You heard it. Adam Young called it before it happened. Tran on his bumper, forcing the mistake. You know, this happened almost 3 quarters for this mistake to happen, Adam.
It did, and both those guys had just gotten done running some just incredibly fast laps. In fact, I think both of them just, Tuan Tran at least just got done running his fastest lap of the race, and he was right underneath the rear wing of Euro Numb, and you could tell that Euro, he's stone cold. He's not the type to get rattled, but he started driving over curbs and everything else, and just the riding ended up being on the wall. Now, what Tuan Tran has to do here now, all he has to do is just try to run clean in these remaining, we'll get maybe 3 laps here. And if he can do that and hang on, he's going to come away with the win here.
Tran comes across the start-finish line right now with 4.5 minutes to go. That sounds like 3 laps remaining to me, if I can do the math right. Don't quote me on that one. The gap to the leader now, 2.4 seconds. That's a pretty large interval. Num will really have to work to gather that down. I guess if he picks up a second and a half, he could get in the tow. The good news for Num, if you want to try to put a silver lining around the dark cloud, is he didn't crash the car. I mean, that could have been the mistake that Tran would have needed for the championship. He was able to gather it up and still, if he's salvages second place points at him, pretty much a win.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's it is what it is.
Yeah. Let's go back now. As our lead battle has calmed down, let's go back to the one we were looking at, that battle for 9th position. And this is, of course, the Neagle out in front of Austin Espity. Remember, we saw Espity come and make that early pit stop, and we expected him to climb up as others pitted in front of him. And sure enough, now Austin racing in 10th position. Neagle a little bit wide, picking up some dust, maybe just wanted to throw it back into Austin's face. Don't know much about Espity. In fact, I can't really tell what club. I don't recognize his logo. Maybe, Director, you can tell. Are you able to put up his club so we can see where he races out of?
New England.
Oh, New England. That's what that is. I couldn't recognize.
Must be a Patriots fan.
Yeah. Well, let's hope his tires are inflated to the right amount.
I see what you did there.
little Europeans aren't going to get our American football joke on that one, but we had the most nonsense over here about the proper inflation of sporting equipment. Tran, Num, Burns, Cocky, Leach, Padavani. Your top 6 in that order. No real battles anywhere.
Yeah, I think Tuan Tran right now is just coasting, but one guy that can't coast, I think you're right. It's good job staying on this battle. It's between Neagle and Espity. I mean,
yeah.
that right now is the battle on your racetrack.
He's got a good run. Here comes Austin, looking for a way. Boy, how about the patience from Austin? Nice job. Neagle holding off. The good news is these guys are all going to get a top 10 finish here if they can just bring it home without any incident. Newcomer, Michel Rugenbrink. We documented him. He's going to look like has 11th position. Andy Bonar in 12th. We don't need to go to any of them. We're looking at Rugenbrink. There's Bonar. Not really much going on back there.
Yeah, and I think Tuan Tran's going to be taking the white flag right here.
You know, Adam, in all the races that you and I have covered in Formula Neagle, this one is really unique in that there are no battles to be found. That's impossible for one of these. This series is notorious for more action than we can cover.
Yeah, especially at the tail end of the race right now. I mean, there's always at least a one or two still going on at this point, but I think things just kind of broke up there right about the same time that Tuan Tran was able to get around Nero Num, and I think it just kind of was a trickle-down effect.
Yeah, the Neagle absentee battle has cooled off, and honestly, of the 18 cars on the lead lap, there's not really one that's close to a battle. Oh, I found one. Let's go to 5th. Leach has really, Padavani has really run down Leach. This is a battle for 5th we can watch. As we are on the right flag right now, our leader, so I don't make sure we miss the call to the finish. Now he's just working through 7 right now, so assuming Tran is safe, we can stay on this one here. Leach and Padavani. Leach qualified 6th, Padavani qualified 5th, Padavani qualified 6th. And they continue to race in that order. Oh, but I spoke too soon. Here's the move. Hard to get that done on the outside of 7. Now he'll have a little bit of run up through 8. Looking at Padavani. Tran right now working through 11. It is the Absolute Beginner League Formula Neagle, round number 6 from Sonoma. Give it to the Dutch driver, the Mama Jean Racing, Tuan Tran. Harold Numb, the Roland Estonia, is going to pick up second position. Birds and
blows his
coffee.
engine coming
there
across the
you
line.
go. Let's go back to Leach. Oh, Short Phil has ran out of fuel. He's coasting. Here comes Leach. Cocky is going to limp it across in front of Leach and Padavani. Why do we call him Short Phil? I think he's doing it on purpose now. Nice job. Cocky gets fourth. Leach and Padavani, Bream, Quinn, Lucal, and Espity round out your top 10. All right. Wait a minute. I spoke too soon. Let's go to ninth position. This is Lucal and Espity. Espity has a run. I think the start-finish line is going to come too soon, and I think Lucal has it. There we go. Doing a little crystal ball announcing there as Lucal brings it home in ninth. Austin Espity in 10th. All right. That'll do it as there's no real battles anywhere else, so the other drivers bring it home on the lead lap, 17 of them. Roger Fritkin being the last one. We're going to take a short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel, but don't go far. We will come back to run down the complete finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and close up shop. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Neagle, Round 6 from Sonoma, and we have the results in the book. And here you have it. Tuan Tran put the pressure on the rolling Estonian, forced him into making a mistake, and Tuan Tran picks up his third win of the season. Errol Num is going to have to settle for second, but still keeping his comfortable point lead. Burns and Cocky, well, they raced the whole race. David Third Degree Burns comes in third. That's why he's named Third Degree. Pierce Shortfield Cocky, well, he lives up to his nickname as well, as he runs out of gas at the very end, but able to sputter across just in front of Andrew Leach and Jefferson Padavani, as those drivers were 4th, 5th, and 6th. Rounding out your top 10, Vincent Bream, Liam Quinn, and Eric Lukel, and Austin Espity. Adam?
All right. Coming home in 11th here this afternoon. Ended up being Michelle Rugenbrink, almost just right about a minute behind your winner, Tuan Tran. Andy Bonar in 12th, Thomas Kick in 13th. Thomas was having a little fun out there trying to find all the jumps on this racetrack right at the end of the race there after everybody crossed the line. Nico Roman in 14th, Jacob Younger in 15th, Kevin Mills in 16th, Roger Prickin in 17th. The rest of these guys ended up having some sort of trouble at some point. Paulo Preto, Edgar Sancinelli, and Tony Matthews.
Hidden Blackjack is Arnaldo Petkoff, the newcomer. In the double duck position, it is Christopher Hancock, which reminds me, Hancock, a good movie, an underrated superhero movie. You haven't seen that one, go ahead, check out Hancock. 23rd and 24th, Michael Hoffland-Dazen and Ricardo Margarita. Those guys are always fun to watch. Jal Vivaldi as well had trouble as they were battling. He's going to come home in the quarter-century mark outside the points. Then, rounding out the back part of the field, Ricard Colomb, Michael Keemont, David Moeller, Matt Cabrillo, Patrick Hingston, and Wade Jones. There you have it. In fact, Wade did not take the starting grid. 30 drivers on the grid, 30 drivers' names that we went through there. Let's see if we can get an interview here with any of our drivers. Do we have anybody in the ready for interview room? We have David Third Degree Burns. I'm going to let Adam talk to him.
Hey, David, you got us?
Yep, got you guys.
Hey, man. Hey, another good podium finish for you here. Pretty quiet day for the most part, but you had a couple exciting moments.
Yeah, I don't know what Euro's on lately. It's just the pace he's got. I don't know what it is. I couldn't keep up with him. So when I'd lost the draft, I thought, I've just got to try and stay in front of Pierce. And then as I thought that, I made a mistake and he got around me.
Well, they pretty much did set the pace. Now, as far as being the first time that the Formula Neagle Series has ever come to Sonoma, what overall did you think of this racetrack here today and how the cars raced here?
It's kind of odd because I liked hot lapping on it. So, trying to be consistent on it, I seem to have quite a good rhythm. But as for racing, I don't really think it was much opportunity, to be honest. I don't know. It felt a little quiet to me.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you right up here in the booth, I'm not afraid to admit it was quiet at times, but there was certainly some action in some other places. Thankfully, most of it avoided you, so you had that relatively quiet day, at least as far as contact or anything else. Now, we're going to Sebring here in 2 weeks, and then Daytona, of all places, after that. So what are you going to be looking for here to round out the season with the final 2 races?
And I'd just like to add it's Daytona night as well, so you could blame Liam for that one. At Sebring, I've never run the Skippy around Sebring, so that'll be interesting. I'll have to put quite a bit of practice in, but I know Sebring from other cars, so it shouldn't be too bad. That should be a lot of fun. There should be a lot of drafting there. Daytona, we'll just have to wait and see. That'll just have to be a surprise, I think.
I think it's safe to say that Daytona is going to be pretty much a surprise for just about everybody out there. Well, hey, David, real quick, I don't think we ever really give you much opportunity to. Anybody like to thank here real quick?
Just the league for putting it on, to be honest. Enjoy it. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
All right, well, there's David Third Degree Burns for you folks, and I believe Soup's going to catch up with Euro.
We'll bring in our second place finisher today. And of course, we're going to talk to the Roland Estonian, Errol Num. He is our points leader. Errol, let me get right to it. Would you have made that mistake if you didn't have Tuan Tran on your gearbox right behind you?
Yeah, probably not. Just lost my concentration at the end there. It's too hot in my room right now.
Well, talk about the temperature. It was an overcast day. Did that help as far as the handling on the car? The track temperature, nice and cool?
I think that helped the other drivers, not me.
You know, that's I understand exactly what you're saying. When the going gets tough, the tough get going, and you are certainly when the conditions are tougher, you've seen that plays into your advantage. Let's talk about early on when you were leading. Were you comfortable as out in front, letting Tuan stay behind you the whole time?
Yeah, I was comfortable, but Tuan behind me was able to get the fastest lap, so that wasn't perfect. He just got it, so.
Right, I saw the fastest lap that he got there. Pit stop strategy, you're notorious for coming in early, but this time there was no lap traffic out there at all to deal with. That's why you ran it so long? No reason to come in?
And also, you never know when you come out, and it's not easy in the beginning of the track to overtake, so it was too risky.
Got it. So the less laps you had to run in traffic, the better, because you knew everyone else would have to come in. Well, look, you didn't get the win today. It was exciting. I don't know how many times. What do you think? 5, 6 times that you and Tran have battled for a win here in the Formula Neagle? It seems like so many.
I think 20.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? Well, you guys always put on a good show. We're glad that you both brought it home clean. Congratulations. Good luck the rest of the way. Aero Num.
Thank you.
There you have it. A good interview from Aero. I think did he admit it? Did he admit it, Adam? Did he say he wouldn't have made that mistake if Tuan wasn't behind him?
Yeah, it sounded like.
I think, yeah. Okay, I think that's our only interviews for today. So that's going to wrap it up for us. Boy, I had a good time. It's always fun to work with Adam. And, of course, having Joe Peak coming in now doing the directing for us is great as well. So what we'd like to do is thank a few people. And I'd like to start by calling up my script, which has gone away from me here. So wait a minute, I can do this right now. Let's go ahead and thank everybody at the Formula Neagle for contracting with GSRC to broadcast this event. You know, we've been covering them this is their 47th race, and we've done them all since they've gone to the Skippy format, and we're happy to do it, and we can't wait to follow them on and on for many seasons to come. Special thanks to the company's equipment or software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. A special thanks to Eric Eckelm and Casey Lawn for providing the background music used throughout the broadcast. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Adam, the font has turned to red, so that means it's you.
So next up for Formula Neagle, we've got 2 weeks in August 13th for round 7. That's right, we only got 2 races left in this season. This one's going to come from Sebring. We'll be there, and we hope you join us. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including dates and times for all upcoming broadcasts, your best bet is globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook /Global Sim Racing Channel.
And back to blue font, so I can say finally on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Adam Young, our director Joe Peak, and our camera artist Dougie Beard, a sincere thank you to all of you for watching. It's always nice to see the numbers continue to grow on the Global Sim Racing Channel and for Formula Neagle. That's great to see. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.